I'm going to share the exact process I use to generate hundreds of campaign ideas in any niche. If you're new here, I'm Veronica, and I've been running my own digital PR campaigns for 5 years now. My campaign ideas have got me coverage in all of the world's biggest publications, including CNN, CBS News, and The Guardian. But how do I come up with winning ideas every time? Truth is, I don't. No one does. The case studies you see online are the few campaigns that did succeed. Behind those successful ideas are plenty of other ideas that didn't go viral. Some may not have even made it to the pitching stage. And this is exactly what I recommend you do as well. Don't rely on just one idea to generate your digital PR links. Play it safe with a diverse portfolio of ideas. This is how you will succeed. Now, let me show you the framework I use to generate hundreds of ideas for potential digital PR studies. First of all, I'm a huge fan of building on something that has already proven it can work. I want to spend my time working on something I know has a decent chance of success. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. To come up with your ideas, you can simply re-angle an already established idea. How do we find those ideas? Head on over to JournoFinder and navigate to the Campaign Finder. Here, you will see a list of over 600 previously successful campaigns, filterable by niche, budget, effort, number of referring domains, type of campaign, and more. This is a goldmine when you're ideating, because the ideas are already proven as newsworthy. Most people's first instinct is to filter right away to their niche, but I don't recommend this. Some of my best ideas have actually come from looking at studies in a totally different niche to the one I'm ideating in. As you're scrolling through the campaigns, ask yourself the following questions. Can I change the angle? Can I change the niche? Is the campaign outdated enough that I can redo it? And can I change the geography? These 4 questions will get your brain thinking outside of the box and generating dozens of fresh ideas from a single study. Let's explore each of these strategies with real examples. Starting with changing the angle. Using the Campaign Finder, I spotted this study, Beaches with the Bluest Water. This study did really well, and straight away I could think of lots of variations that could potentially replicate this success. Beaches with the whitest sand, beaches with the clearest water, beaches with the warmest water, beaches with the longest coastline, beaches with the dirtiest water, and so on. These headlines all have the same core idea, but they each offer a fresh perspective. Or here's an expert commentary example. 6 common garden improvements that could be mistakes. You can turn this into 6 common DIY home improvements that could be mistakes, 6 common health fads that you shouldn't follow, 6 common skincare myths, or even 6 common pieces of dog training advice you shouldn't follow. Moving on to our second strategy, changing the niche. As soon as I saw this study exposed the crypto coins and influencers with the most fake followers on Twitter, I instantly thought of how good it would be for multiple other niches. Think fitness influencers with the most fake Instagram followers, mumfluencers with the most fake TikTok followers, or lifestyle influencers with the most fake subscribers. The third option, changing the geography, doesn't need much explanation. As an example, if you see a study that was successful in the USA, this automatically means it's an idea worth considering for other geographies like the UK, Australia, Canada, or even Europe. The online tutoring site Preply is a master at this. They repeated their rudest cities study in at least 10 different geographies, collecting nearly 400 links in the process. Our fourth strategy is simply asking, is this campaign outdated enough that I can redo it? If a campaign hasn't been done for over a year and there's updated data available, or you're able to collect fresh data, there's absolutely nothing stopping you from simply redoing the campaign. You could even look at refreshing something sooner than a year if there's a recent news story, such as a celebrity controversy, a policy change, or a seasonal event that makes the study topic relevant again. Apart from JournoFinder's Campaign Finder, here are 2 more ways you can find previously successful campaigns to ideate from. The first option is to use Google News with search operators. Type study reveals plus your niche, or expert reveals plus your niche into Google News to bring up a list of recent campaigns that got coverage. Here's an example in the gardening niche where we've typed expert reveals plus gardening. The second option is to subscribe to some digital PR newsletters that curate successful campaigns. Examples of these include The Grapevine from Iona Townsley, the PR newsletter from Thea Chippendale, and the Digital PR Observer from Matt Seabridge. I've linked all of these in the description. Okay, so after going through that exercise with the Campaign Finder, you should have a whole list of potential headline ideas for your business. But of course, these are just ideas and they still need validating. Let's break down the validation process into 3 clear steps. Step 1 is assess the newsworthiness of your headline. The fact your ideas are based on previously successful campaigns is already a huge plus in terms of newsworthiness. But it's still worth asking yourself these 2 questions. Is there a current news story or broader theme in the news that I can connect this headline to? This helps make sure your idea is relevant now. For example, once I created a campaign around the cheapest pints in the UK, and I linked it to the fact there had been a recent story in the news about how the price of a pint had reached £5. If I'd created this story at another time when that story wasn't in the news, it might have still got coverage, but the coverage would have been harder to come across. Similarly, an expert commentary campaign on how to sleep in the heat is only going to work in the summer. The second question to ask yourself is, would anyone share this in a group chat? Or does my headline trigger an emotion when I read it? These questions help you gauge how interested readers would be. If you can't see anyone caring about the story, it might be a bit boring. Want to learn more about what makes a story newsworthy? We have a great in-depth video on just that topic linked right here. If you decide the idea is newsworthy, then step 2 is check the idea hasn't just been done. You can use Google News for this. Type in your imagined headline and see if any similar coverage comes up from the last few weeks or months. Journalists won't want to recover a story they have just covered. If you do discover that your idea has just been done, try and think if there's a way you can re-angle it even further or add an extra element to the story which makes it newsworthy again. Step 3 is confirm brand alignment. This one's pretty easy, but it's good to consider if the message of your campaign idea aligns with the messaging of your brand or your client's brand. Some clients can be wary of ideas that lean more on the negative side of things, so this is just something to bear in mind. For an expert commentary or a quick reactive type campaign, these 3 steps are all you need for validation. The good thing about expert commentary type campaigns is that they don't take long to put together, so you don't have a lot to lose by trying. Data studies or other campaign types that take longer to pull together are slightly harder to validate, and you need a step 4, which is evaluating feasibility. You need to make sure that the idea is possible for you to execute with the resources and time available to you. JournoFinder's Campaign Finder has a really useful column where you can check the methodology of each campaign to see how any data was collected. This is a great starting point for method validation. Straight away, you can see if the campaign used paid data, such as a survey, if it used publicly available data, like census data, or if the campaign used scraped data or something else. This can help you decide if the method is one that you can replicate, or if you'd need to come up with an alternative method or data source. If you do need to find a new data source, make sure that you go for something that's credible and not too outdated. Journalists pay attention to the methodology, so it's important that you get it right. If you're using a data source they've never heard of or it's years old, this can discredit your study. Once you've validated your ideas, there may have been some you decided are no-goes, but you should still have a decent list of ideas to move forward with. As I said at the beginning of the video, don't put all your hope into one study. Aim to have a spectrum of ideas. For example, you could have one big data study idea, a smaller data study idea, and then 3 expert commentary type ideas that you want to try. Once you've put together your campaign ideas, the next step is to build a media list, which you can learn all about here. See you there!